I am 91 years old. My name is Thomas. If I were a used car, I would have been recalled by the factory about 20 years ago. The parts are wearing out. The suspension is shot. The headlights are dimming, and do not even get me started on the exhaust system. But the engine, the mind, it is still running. Somehow, I am sitting here in what they call the golden years. Let me tell you something. Whoever called them the golden years must have been selling hearing aids or adult diapers. It is not gold. It is more like a rusty beige. I spend my days fighting with child-proof caps on pill bottles and trying to remember why I walked into the kitchen. My biggest excitement of the week is seeing if the recycling truck actually comes on Tuesday or if they moved it to Wednesday again. But the one advantage of being this ancient, besides the senior discount at the movie theater, which saves me exactly $2, is that I have a very good view of the playing field. I am sitting way up in the bleachers, watching the game, and I see you down there. You, the 45-year-olds, the 55-year-olds, the people running around like headless chickens in business casual attire. I see you because I used to be you. I see you checking your watch. I see you yelling into your Bluetooth headset in the grocery store aisle. I see the stress lines etched into your forehead like a road map of your bad decisions. And I need to have a serious talk with you before my nap time, because frankly, you are making a mess of things. The title of this little chat is Don't Sleep In. And I do not mean hitting the snooze button on your alarm clock on a Saturday, although I bet you feel guilty about that too. I mean you are sleepwalking through the only life you are ever going to get. You are in a coma, a comfortable, air-conditioned, high-speed internet coma. You are obsessed with time management. Are you not? You have the apps on your phone. You have the calendar with the color-coded blocks, blue for meetings, green for the gym you never go to, red for the kids' soccer practice. You manage time like it is a project. You treat time like it is water coming out of a faucet. You think you can just leave it running while you brush your teeth. You think there is a reservoir somewhere that never runs dry. You think that if you just organize the blocks correctly, if you just wake up at 5 in the morning and drink your green juice, you will somehow win the game. I am here to tell you, as a man who can see the bottom of the well, that the faucet is dripping and the handle is broken. You are operating under a heavy narcotic delusion that you are in the middle of your life. You look at the actuarial tables and say, hey, I am 45. I have got another 40 years. You assume the second half of the game will be just as long as the first half. But you are forgetting about injuries. You are forgetting about rain delays. You are forgetting that the stadium lights can get turned off without warning. Let us talk about your career. Oh, the career. The big, important job. You are a senior vice president of something or other, or a regional manager of synergy and logistics. It sounds very impressive. I bet it looks great on LinkedIn. I bet your mother is very proud when she tells her bridge club that her son is in strategic solutions. But let me ask you something honestly. When you are sitting in that 3-hour meeting on a Tuesday afternoon, talking about quarterly deliverables and circling back to touch base, do you feel alive? Or do you feel like a piece of office furniture that has learned to nod? I knew a man named Gary. Gary was a shark. We worked together in Chicago back in the 80s. Gary was the kind of guy who would check the stock market reports at a funeral. Gary had a plan. He always had a plan. He told me, Thomas, I am going to grind until I am 55. I am going to make partner. I am going to stack the cash. And then, at 55, I am going to buy a vineyard in Oregon and make Pinot Noir. Gary worked 6 days a week for 30 years. He missed his son's baseball games. He missed his anniversary dinners. He ate lunch at his desk every single day. Usually a turkey sandwich with mustard, eaten with one hand while he typed with the other. He was a machine. He was the model employee. Gary had a massive heart attack at 52, right at his desk, face down in that turkey sandwich. And do you know what his company did? Did they build a statue of Gary in the lobby? Did they retire his employee identification number like a sports jersey? Did they close the office for a week of mourning? No, they sent a nice floral arrangement to the widow, a very tasteful bouquet of lilies, and by the following Monday, a 28-year-old named Kyle was sitting in Gary's chair. Kyle was using Gary's stapler. Kyle was complaining that Gary's computer was too slow. Kyle did not know about the vineyard. Kyle did not know that Gary had a son who played baseball. Kyle just knew that the quarterly report was due on Thursday. Gary gave his life, literally gave his beating heart, for a company that replaced him faster than they replaced the toner in the copy machine. And looking at you, I see Gary. I see the same look in your eyes. You are trading your current happiness for a future payoff that might never arrive. You are suffering now to live later. That is the contract you signed, but it is a fraudulent contract. You tell yourself, I will take the trip when I get the promotion. I will write the book when I retire. I will learn to paint when the kids move out. Let me give you a hard fact from a 91-year-old man. There is no later. There is only now. And if you are trading your now for a later that is not guaranteed, you are making the worst bet in the history of gambling. You think your title defines you. You think the letters after your name mean something. They do not. When you are sitting where I am sitting, nobody cares if you were the vice president of sales. The nurse who brings me my soup does not care about my quarterly earnings from 1995. My grandchildren do not ask me about my efficiency strategies. Your career is a transaction. You are selling the hours of your life, hours you will never, ever get back, to build someone else's castle. And listen, I am not saying you should not work. I am not saying you should be lazy. I am saying do not worship at the altar of your career. It will not love you back. It will not hold your hand when the lights go out. You are sleepwalking through the hallways of your office, thinking you are the main character in a movie about business success. But to the universe, you are just background noise. And the clock is ticking so loudly that I can hear it from here, even with my bad hearing. Can you hear it? Tick, tick, tick. That is not the sound of time passing. That is the sound of your life running out while you are stuck in a Zoom meeting. Wake up. All right. You are still here. You did not run back to your office to answer an email. That is a good start. Now that we have established that your job is not going to love you back, let us talk about your stuff, the accumulation, the kingdom of things. I look at your generation and I get anxiety. You are obsessed with the accumulation of objects. You have the big house in the suburbs with the granite countertops and the finished basement. You have the luxury sport utility vehicle with the heated seats and the 14 cup holders. Why do you need 14 cup holders? How many beverages can one person drink at a time? You have a garage full of things you have not looked at since the Clinton administration. Be honest with me. You have a kayak hanging from the ceiling in your garage, do you not? When was the last time you used the kayak? Do not lie to me. That kayak has a family of spiders living in it now. That is their kayak. You are just paying the mortgage for them. You have the bread maker, the pasta maker, the espresso machine that takes a degree in engineering to operate. You are buying things to fill a hole in your soul. But let me tell you, the hole is not shaped like a jet ski. I used to be exactly like you. I was the king of accumulation. I wanted the world to know I had made it. I bought the big colonial house on the hill. It was 4,000 square feet. It had columns in the front. It looked like a bank. I spent 40 years paying for that house. I spent my weekends fixing the roof, mowing the 2 acres of lawn, and worrying about the property taxes. We had a formal living room. Do you have one of those? A room that exists only to be looked at? Ours had white carpet, pristine, white carpet, in a house with 3 muddy boys and 2 dogs. That room was not a living space. It was a minefield. We were terrified to walk in there. If you stepped on that carpet, my wife would look at you like you had just committed a felony. It was a museum exhibit in our own home. And now? I live in a room the size of a walk-in closet. I have a bed that moves up and down with a remote control. I have a nightstand. I have a television that plays reruns of game shows. And I have a picture of my wife. And do you know what? I do not miss the white carpet. I do not miss the maintenance. I do not miss the stress of owning things. All that stuff you are working 60 hours a week to pay for, it is just future garbage. That is what it is. It is a loan you are taking out against your freedom. I have been to a lot of funerals. I have never, not once, seen a moving truck following a hearse. You cannot take the commemorative plates with you. You cannot take the leather sectional sofa with you. When you die, your kids are not going to cherish your stuff. They are going to hire a stranger with a dumpster to haul away your precious collection. They will sell your antique dining table for $50 just to get it out of the house. That is the sum total of your materialism. You are trading your life energy for things that will end up in a landfill. So stop it. Stop buying things to impress neighbors you do not even like. The neighbors do not care about your new car. They are too busy worrying about their own payments. Now, let us talk about your body. This is the part where the humor gets a little dark, so brace yourself. You are 45 or 50. You are starting to notice things fall apart, aren't you? You stand up from the couch and you make a noise like a rusty gate. You groan. You say things like, "Oh, my back." You look in the mirror and you wonder who that old person is staring back at you. You notice that your hair is migrating. It is leaving your head and reappearing in your ears and your nose. It is a cruel joke of nature. But listen to me closely. To me, you are Superman. You still have the golden ticket. You can walk without a cane. You can see without cataracts clouding your vision. You can eat a steak without worrying about your dentures falling out. You can run for a bus if you have to, although you might need a minute to catch your breath afterwards. You have this incredible functioning vessel. You have health. And what do you do with it? You sit. You sit in a chair for 10 hours a day, staring at a glowing rectangle. Then you move to a softer chair to stare at a bigger glowing rectangle. You are sedating yourself. You treat your health like it is a rental car that you purchase the extra insurance for. You think you can abuse it, ignore it, fuel it with garbage, and just trade it in when it breaks down. You cannot. I would give every penny I ever earned to have your bad knee. I would give everything to have your aching back if it meant I could walk outside right now and feel the wind on my face without holding on to a walker. You are complaining about getting old. Stop it. Getting old is a privilege. It is a privilege denied to many. My friend Jack died at 19 in Korea. He never got to have a bad back. He never got to have gray hair. So, here is my challenge to you regarding your physical existence. Stop numbing yourself. You come home from your stressful job and you pour a glass of wine, or maybe three. You turn on the streaming service and you check out. You drift away. You are essentially putting yourself in suspended animation until the alarm goes off the next morning. That is not living. That is just existing. That is just running down the clock. I want you to feel something. Go outside. I do not care if it is cold. Feel the cold. Let it bite your cheeks. Go for a walk. Run until your lungs burn. That burning? That is life. That is your body telling you it is still here. It is still ready to serve you. Do not wait until you are sitting in this chair, looking at your swollen ankles, wishing you had climbed that mountain when you had the chance. The mountain is still there. Your legs still work. Go climb it. Now, let us get to the part that actually matters. We have talked about the job. We have talked about the stuff. We have talked about the body. But those are just the scenery. Now we need to talk about the actors on the stage with you, your relationships. I see you and your spouse at restaurants. I like to people watch. It is cheaper than cable television and much more educational. I see couples who have been married for 20 years sitting across from each other, and there is silence. Not the comfortable silence of two people who know each other's souls. It is the heavy, suffocating silence of two people who have run out of things to say. Or worse, you are both on your phones. You are scrolling through social media, looking at pictures of other people's vacations, ignoring the actual living, breathing human being sitting 3 feet away from you. You are physically present, but emotionally, you are on a different planet. You think you have time to fix your marriage later. You tell yourself, we will reconnect when the kids leave for college. We will find the spark again when we retire and take that cruise. Let me tell you about my wife, Martha. Martha was chaotic. She was loud. She had a laugh that could crack a window. And she was a terrible cook. She burned the toast every single morning for 50 years. Every morning, the kitchen would smell like smoke, and every morning I would sit there and grumble. I would scrape the black parts off the bread into the sink and complain under my breath. I thought, why can this woman not just learn to use a toaster? It is not rocket science. Martha died 6 years ago. The house is very quiet now. It is too quiet. And every single morning I sit at my table with my perfectly toasted golden brown bread, and I would give every dime I have, every accolade, every promotion, just to smell that burnt toast one more time. I would give anything to have her interrupting my newspaper to tell me a boring story I have heard 1,000 times. You are taking people for granted. You are assuming they will be there when you finally decide to look up from your laptop. That is a dangerous bet. The odds are not in your favor. You are holding on to grudges. You haven't spoken to your brother in 2 years because of some political argument at Thanksgiving? Are you kidding me? Do you think the political argument is going to matter when you are standing over his casket? It will not. All that will matter is the time you threw away being right instead of being a brother. So, here is the wake up call. Here is the bucket of cold water in your face. You are not going to live forever. In fact, statistically speaking, you are past the halftime show. The band has played. The cheerleaders have gone home. You are in the third quarter, and the clock is ticking faster than it did in the first half. Stop waiting. Stop waiting for the perfect time. The perfect time is a myth invented by people who are afraid to live. You want to write that book? Write it. It might be terrible. Who cares? Write it anyway. You want to learn to play the guitar? Do it. You might annoy the neighbors? Good. Let them be annoyed. You want to take that trip to Italy? Book the ticket. Put it on the credit card if you have to. Experience holds its value better than the dollar does. And for God's sake, kill your ego. Your ego is the enemy. You are so afraid of looking foolish. You are so afraid of what the neighbors will say. You are so afraid of failing. I am 91. I have failed more times than you have tried. I have made bad investments. I have worn terrible fashion choices. I have said the wrong thing at dinner parties. And guess what? Nobody remembers. Nobody cares. We are all just specks of dust floating on a rock in the middle of nowhere. The only thing that matters is how much fun you had while you were floating and how many people you made smile. So, here is my final order to you. I want you to go home tonight and do something radical. I want you to leave your phone in the car. Leave it there. The emails can wait. The news can wait. I want you to walk into your house and kiss your spouse like you are shipping out to war. Not a peck on the cheek, a real kiss. Remind them that you see them. I want you to get down on the floor and play with your dog until you are both out of breath. I want you to call your mother, even if she tells you the same story about her hip surgery for the 100th time. Listen to it, because one day the phone won't ring. and silence is the loudest sound in the world. Don't be like me. Don't wait until you are 91 to figure out that the white carpet didn't matter. Don't wait until the credits are rolling to realize you missed the movie because you were checking your email. The ledger is closing, my friends. The accountant is tallying up the score. And the only currency that counts in the end is not the money in your bank account. It is the memories in your head and the love in your heart. I am tired now. The nurse will be coming in soon with my pills. Being this wise is exhausting. But you are still in the game. You are still on the field. The ball is in your hands. Don't let the clock run out while you are sitting on the bench. Get up and live.